my name is Nipun from INFINIT, DeFi abstraction layer. So today I'm going to give a talk about LP pricing. So before we start, what is LP? Everyone might be familiar. It's like a share of the pool, depending on where you lend, where you deposit, Uniswap, Curve, Aave, Balancer, any kind of pool. And you get an LP token in return. It may be ERC20, maybe not. LP pricing, why is it important, right? It enables more use cases. It creates more composability and capital efficiency, where you can reuse the end product, the shares, to be able to create more leverage, lending, borrowing, more use cases, right? LP value, right? It's easy. It's whatever is in the pool divided by the shares, right? But you know, this is not true, not so easy. Life's not so easy, right? Many hacks in the past has occurred because we're using spot price and sandwich attack. You can manipulate the price, or you can even inflate price per share for the LP, right? So this talk is going to be focusing on the high level of what's important to compute robust LP pricing. So LP price depends on two major things, right? One is, what are you going to use the LP for? Use cases, are you using it for collateral or using it for borrowing? Second part is, what LP types are you using, right? It depends. Are you using Uniswap V2 LP token, which is ERC20, Uniswap V3, which is ERC721, or V4, or even Curve, or other AMM invariants, right? It depends. So moving on to use cases. So this will determine like what kind of pricing is needed for your use case. So for example, if you're going to use LP as collateral, then you don't want to overestimate your price, your LP price. Why? Because if you're using it as collateral, then you don't want people to be borrowing against your collateral more than the value that you should have, right? So if you use collateral, don't overestimate the price. Second part is, you don't want the price to dump, right? You don't want to have your collateral suddenly dump price by 50% just because your algorithm is prone to manipulation, right? So it can lead to bad debt because the borrow value stay the same. LP collateral value suddenly drops, right? You can, however, underestimate the price at the cost of efficiency and at the cost of liquidation risk for users. On the other hand, if you're going to use LP as for borrowing, then it's going to be counter argument, right? You don't want to underestimate the price, because otherwise you can borrow out more value than what you should have. At the same time, you don't want price to pump for the borrowing tokens, because suddenly your debt suddenly can skyrocket and then cause bad debt in the system. And that can lead to attack vectors. And at the same time, you can overestimate the price of the borrowing tokens, but at the cost of capital efficiency and also liquidation risk for the users again. So this is for LP use cases. LP types, there are many kinds of LP types, but it'll define what kind of pricing can be implemented. For example, in Uniswap V2, you can donate money, right? You can transfer tokens and then you call sync function. So that means price can pump at the cost of money for the attackers. So you should not enable borrowing for Uniswap V2. In V3, you can increase liquidity. Again, anyone can increase liquidity, increase the value, price per share. So you don't want to use this as a borrowing, as a position as well. So this is some things that we need to keep in mind. An example of LP types, Uniswap V2, Uniswap V3, you can find exact formula, Balancer, generic, Uniswap V2. You can also find exact formula using Taylor approximation. Curve stable swap, you can use gradient descent, solidly, Pendle, GMX, Trader Joe, whatever, and other forms. You can always find some form exact and maybe some approximation. So just a quick example, you derive fair balance and then you derive the fair pricing for the LP. And I'm not going to go through the exact formula, but this is the rough calculation of Uniswap V2. In V3, it's going to be slightly more complex. So you derive from the price, and then from price reaction, you derive back to the fair pricing for the LP. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So do we have any questions? Please raise your hand. Over there? No. Over there.
What's the best place on chain to use Uniswap NFTs as collateral?
The question is, what's the best place to use Uniswap on Uniswap in V3, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I am not sure right now, but there are many protocols that are building on top of UDV3, allowing to lend and then you borrow out. Also, I think there are leverage U farming protocols for sure. And there also, I think, I'm not sure if Aave is allowing UDV3 position as collateral or not. I remember they did back in Aave V2. They have like AMA markets, but they are not so much usage. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. There's another question in the middle.
Okay, hello. Yeah, I just want to answer your question. The best protocol is Panoptic.
Any other question?
Back there.
Hey, I'm curious to know if there are no Oracle pricing for a token in an LP pool, how could you still get the fair value of the LP price?
If there's no Oracle price, right? So
Yes.
so this is given context of if you have Oracle price for the base asset, right? That's a good question. And the answer is going to be tricky because if there's no true price or the base for the base assets, then what do you treat it as what's actually a correct price, right? If the asset is only available in a DEX, for example, if you use like Pendle PT token, usually the pricing is derived from PTSY pool itself. And I think you could find other source of PT pricing. For example, you can use TWAP at the cost of time and risk. But yeah, so there's trade-off because if that's the only place where you can derive the true price, then that is a true price, right? So in LP pricing, what you actually want is a robust pricing where you don't want to have like a manipulatable price by flash loan, flash swap, everything else. So there should be a reference where we should find what is the correct price.
Thank you. That was the last question.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Give a round of applause to Nipun.